If you guys have never been to the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and do a walking tour, man. We'll keep this thing running, and maybe I'll just kill the battery. I'm not going to try and get on a ton of boats right this second because I kind of want to get around the show first and get a feel for it. And I'll come back and do some boat stuff and get on these things, maybe do some little reviews for you guys. I may put that on another channel. If I do, I'll leave a link in the description above for you guys can see that channel as well. I've got another channel that I do some of our Bahamas trip stuff on, and just some small stuff. I don't really promote that channel a whole lot, but same deal, this channel I don't really want to do a bunch of boat reviews on it right now. It's just not what this channel's kind of designed for. But man, the Midnight Expresses are nice. So we'll talk about this then if we're just going to do a little walking tour and go through this. The Fort Lauderdale Boat Show is one of the largest boat shows in the world. Really an incredible experience. If you've never done it at least once, you should seriously consider it. I mean, coming out and trying it, it is worth the trip down to Fort Lauderdale. I've got friends that fly in from the show from all over the place every single year that usually meet us here. So you're going to notice it's a little slow as we're walking around, and that's because we're in the show a little early thanks to our friends at FLIBS for giving us access to get in here before they actually open. To do a whole walkthrough like this when they're actually open would be a whole lot more difficult. Man, but the Midnight Expresses are just bad. They are sweet rides, guys. So what should you come here versus your regular boat show? Well, as we're walking through here, we're only in one section, and that's all I'm going to do on this video today as we walk through, is we're just going to walk through basically the Bahia Mar section. So this is where all the boats are in water. This is a little different than Miami because we don't do in-water tours, not tours, but test drives. So in Miami, they do test drives, but it's still a different experience here. There's a lot more boats here than at Miami. Oh, I'm gonna stop for a second. This is the Sea Hunter, and this is, I hate to say this is like one of my dream boats, but I mean, I love these things. The Sea Hunters, the invincible big catamarans, is more of my speed than necessarily like the Midnight Expresses or even that formula we looked at, but it's because of what I do. I'm not quite as interested in the flash. I am more interested in the ride when it gets nasty. We do some long distance stuff, and I want something personally myself that if I'm going long distances and it's rough, that we can still get up on throttle and go. Nothing stinks more than having 200 miles to go and having to slow down to 10 or 15 miles an hour. And these boats, don't get me wrong, they're not world beaters. I mean, if you're out and it's nasty, it's not going to still drop everything down, but it will definitely improve your chances of having a better ride and being able to keep that speed up. So back to where we were at, Fort Lauderdale versus the Miami show. If you're actually shopping for a boat, the Fort Lauderdale show's probably a little better than Miami if you're not sure what you're looking for. Just because there's more boats here, you're going to get a better idea of the boats. As compared to Miami, for example, there was fewer boats, but you can actually get on the water and go on a test ride. So there's two different terms there. So one thing you can do is do both. Come to Fort Lauderdale, determine the boat you really like, and if you're just not ready to pull the trigger yet on like a Mystic like this and you want to see how it rides, well, see if they're going to be at the Miami show and then go to Miami and get your test ride. And Mystic typically is there. So a lot of these big South Florida manufacturers, they're going to be at those kind of shows as well. So we're just on the first dock. Typically this is kind of the highlight reel dock, I'll call it. There's going to be a lot more of these type of boats over here than there will be as we start progressing further back. And when you first walked into this, it's going to be one of those, you walk through a bunch of shops and plazas. We kind of skipped that because once again, we're in here early and they are all still getting ready in there. So you weren't going to see much, man. Always interesting to see these with the outboards on the back now. I mean, everybody's kind of converting to that. And here we go. Sunseeker. Oh, we almost had a moment. One of the sales guys was walking and almost fell in the water. We almost had a boneheaded boaters of the week moment. So the Sunseekers are nice, very much in that category with the Midnight Expresses, the cigarettes, things like that. I don't think they're quite as expensive as the Mystics and the cigarettes, but they are still very nice boats, just in a whole different world. But if you're looking for one of those go fast, fun boats, these will get the job done as well. Those Speed Cats. These are for those boys who want to do 100 miles, that true full send guy that's out there. This is your ride. So if that's you, maybe something you want to check out. But once again, the Fort Lauderdale show is just a monster. I mean, literally, once again, doing a walking tour like this, I'll probably have to split this up into 2 or 3 videos, and that's why I'm moving so quickly through these boats versus getting on them. So there's just no way. And I mean, I promise you there's plenty of videos online if you want to see these boats more in depth and in detail. Probably doing a much better job than I can do. But really what I'm appealing to here more, once again, is the guy who's never been to the boat show and wants to know why you should go. So why you go is if you were in the market for a new boat, maybe you're looking for that upgrade, maybe it's your first boat, and you want to determine what you're looking for. Well, this becomes a great place to do that, because as you get on all these boats, and you have access to get on everything here, except for the big yachts, and we'll talk about that when we get back there, but you can get on it, feel it, touch it, and what you're going to learn is some of the features that you really want in a boat, because you'll see things that you probably didn't know existed if you've never been to a big show like this. And you'll learn some things that you may want in your vessel that you didn't even know were out there. And you may wind up finding a vessel that would fit your lifestyle that you didn't know existed. I mean, for example, like, I mean, a Ranger tug. Before I started coming to the Fort Lauderdale boat shows, I'd never heard of this company. They've been here just about every year I've been. I think this is my 5th or 6th year coming in a row. And, you know, it's just another type of boat. And it's something you can learn about that you may not have seen before if you had never been to a show like this. And same deal, Aviara Yachts. Even with all the videos we produce down at Haulover, obviously the boat ramps, and the things we do on Broncos Guru, like, yeah, very rarely do I see these things. So, like, if you want an opportunity to really see these boats and get out here and experience it, this is where you're going to have to come to do it. Because even we just don't see it when we're over there. I mean, this is like the ultimate deck boat. I mean, it's not a deck boat, obviously, but man, look at the seating you could have here. I mean, this is an absolute beast of a party barge that you could still run offshore in. It's the AV36. So a neat little booth to come over and check out, man, if you want to see some high-end boats, the Aviara booth. But so back to what this show would be for. So I really think it's that. It's if you're actually truly in the market shopping for a boat and don't know what you want. Even if you think you know what you want, it's still a great experience to come to, just because you're gonna probably change your mind here. I mean, if we see some of my favorites, as we mentioned, I'll pass them like I did on the Sea Hunter. I'll kind of point them out, like in things that I'd never thought of. I mean, I never pictured myself really wanting a giant catamaran like that. But I mean, God, just I look at the things I hate doing most on a boat, and those are the things they do best. And that's kind of where the give and take is. Do you want something that does the 95%, or you want something that does the 5% better? And that's why I don't own one yet, is because really only 5% of what I do is it great for. And these are 100% electric boats. Once again, something you're probably only going to see at a boat show like this. And you're definitely, I'd be shocked if you even saw this in like a Chicago boat show. But once again, the 5%. So what I'm talking about there is 95%. I really don't need like a Sea Hunter or Invincible catamaran. That's why I don't own one. But the things that annoy me the most 100% are when that 5% goes bad. And that's the thing that always tempts you toward going that direction, is that 5% stinking so bad on like a 30-foot center console. Once again, so back to walking the show and why you want to be here. These Regals are cool too. So this was one of the first boats that I saw as well that kind of like was a boat show boat. Like, and when I say that, like, I'd never seen it before and didn't really know much about it. Never thought of Regal in this kind of way. But this right here, the 38 SAV, is absolutely one of my favorite boats. This thing has it all. If you're that guy who wants to go offshore fishing, enjoy a day with the family, this thing will allow you to do all of it. You got 4-cross helm seating, massive rear seat, see-through fish well, live well. Always got to watch what I say. You guys will light me up in the comments. Trip 300s on it, but it's kind of like the do-all. So like when I say that, this thing, I mean, you can go fishing on it, but it's even got enough cabin space where you can kind of get on here and still actually spend the day and enjoy time with your family. Guys, do you care? Do you mind if I get on and just shoot a few shots? All right.
I'm trying to get my...
Oh, you're completely fine, guys. I know I'm here a little early, like trying to beat the crowd getting here. So, these. And I wasn't running you guys off. You guys are more than welcome. Yeah, you guys are more than welcome to stay. You know. Sorry guys. So the 38 SAV. So this is walk around up to the front, man. You've got kind of that cockpit that feels like more just like a bow rider, right? I mean, plenty of seating for the family and everything up here. I mean, you've got seating for 4 at the helm still. Massive windshield. I mean, this thing is huge.
Check out the cabin yet?
Yeah. That's actually this is one of my favorite boats. So it's
mine too.
It's and I am recording right now. I'm sorry. So if you don't want to be on camera, you're fine. You can tell me. But you know, basically, I'm just kind of trying to walk through the show. I wasn't going to do too many boat reviews as I was going this one, but I just want to show people what it's like to actually just wander through and experience it, and why you would come to a boat show like this. And this was one of the boats that actually was one of the things that triggers me to why people should come to a boat show. I didn't know this boat existed, and this is one of the best do-it-all boats I have ever seen. I saw it last year at the boat show, and I mean, everything you can need for the family. If you guys, and it can get you offshore, it can stay inshore, it can overnight, as the cabin we're about to walk into. But yeah, I mean, just everything. So it really is, and what's it? It's the sport activity vessel is what they call it, right? So which is a perfect name because it's one of those vessels that literally will just do it all for you.
I call it the Swiss Army knife.
And
she does do everything.
She's not lying about that. It really is. But I mean, this is like the kind of boat that you probably wouldn't expect to see, like if you were just at your normal boat show, not here in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, so it's. I mean, do you guys even take this to Chicago or anything like that?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Okay, but
I'm out of a Florida dealership, and this is a super popular boat. And one of the things about Regal is they have such incredibly clever designs, and they utilize every bit of space very just intelligently. So it's I wonder where something is because it's where it belongs.
And to give you guys an idea of the popularity of these boats too, so I do a little bit of work with BoatTest.com as well. You guys may have seen some videos of mine featured over there, and they've got a program where they do a leasing program, and they told me this is the most popular boat, the SAV models. When they get them in that leasing program, that they sell the packages out for people who want to lease those boats almost immediately when they get one in their leasing program. So
yeah, we've had to borrow boats or get the boats from other dealerships because we don't have enough.
I just asked somebody else this, and maybe you can give me an answer from Regal's side of this, because I'm really still trying to figure out where we're at this year with the boating world. So I know when I was walking the show last year, everybody was 2 years out. It didn't matter, like it was 2 years. Are we still there today?
I would say it's definitely starting to improve. We're starting to get inventory, and manufacturers are starting to catch up some. So I'm sure when you were here or 2 years ago, every boat that was available to experience was probably a sold boat or a borrowed boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're starting to catch back up, so it's nice to actually have boats to sell.
Sell again, yeah, I'm sure. All right, guys, we're gonna check out this cabin so I can keep walking real quick. But this thing right here, so this is one of the neater parts, side entry. But man, this cabin is massive. So you guys saw the cabin we were just in on the other 38-foot boat, which was the Formula. And don't get me wrong, I love that Formula, and I will tell you right now that this is a very, very nice boat. That Formula was put together different. You could tell it was a level above this. But the size and everything you get in here, so you've got sleeping quarters here, couch here, microwave, but there is another whole living area in this vessel. Down here, you've got a couch, another bed. So once again, this one you could take if you had the kids with you, and they've got their own little place to hang out. You and mom could probably be hanging out watching TV out there, or mom and dad. And man, just bathroom is absolutely gorgeous. Really is one of my favorite boats. But once again, one of the reasons you would go to a boat show, because I know where I live locally, we have boat shows. Nothing like this will ever be there. And you wouldn't know it existed because there's so many boats. That's the biggest problem with boating, is that there's so many boat manufacturers. There's no way you can see them all without actually coming to the show and seeing it. That is massive. Now, they don't make this in an inboard model though, do they? So usually I see something like this when they make the boat in an inboard model, but this one they don't. So basically, guys, like, if you're one of those people who really wants to overnight and go on a trip, I mean, you've got the generator, you're full self-sustaining, so much storage down here that you can keep gear, play toys. Really is a do-it-all boat, man. I mean, you really can get around with this thing in absolutely insanity. That is awesome. So even the same deal, I mean, I could stuff this full of stuff. I look at our Bahamas trips, and this is like storage is. We do a lot of trips to the Bahamas, and storage is always the issue. And I mean, in this boat, once again, never would be an issue in this thing.
And then also, if you like those lily pads, or you're in a paddleboard, you have a setup that you can rig that right on the boat. You don't have to worry about putting it down below. It actually has a rack for it.
Gotcha. So what she's saying, guys, because I don't know if we're going to catch the audio on this one from this far away, but basically they've even got racks and stuff that they set up for this boat where you can store your inflatables and other gear out on top. So really just use this for true storage. You know, I mean, if you're packing clothes, food, luggage, I mean, like when we do those trips to the Bahamas for a week and 10 days, you try and bring as much food as you can because stuff's just not readily available over there like it is in the United States. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Happy to help.
All right, guys, we're going to keep walking. Sorry. So trick one, if I'm going to give you tips and tricks about the boat show, wear shoes that are easy to take on and off. So I wear Hey Dudes when I come to these things, still comfortable enough to walk around in, but easy to slide on and off because you will be sliding your shoes on and off a lot. So when you walk on these boats, you're going to want to take your shoes off. And of course, another reason to come to the boat show is so you can save money. Obviously, if you're here at the show, typically they'll give some bigger discounts. So one of the most encouraging things I'm hearing right now, though, too, from these people is that the second person I've asked that says it's obviously looking better. So we're starting to see an increase in boats. And speaking of boat tests, I remember I saw an article from them that boat sales were down 19% last quarter compared to the prior year. Now, don't get me wrong, we're coming off of peak COVID years where these guys couldn't keep anything in stock, but that's a sign that we're starting to see some softening and where some of the stuff will become available. I mean, in the last year or two, and this is the 33 SAV, a little smaller version, but man, that 5 feet makes a huge difference. You guys probably can see it a little bit in the video as compared to what you actually can fit on this thing, but it's still a nice boat and one of the more popular boats out there. I mean, people who have those SAV lines love them. But once again, that's one of those boats that, you know, is a game changer. When I say a game changer, it's a game changer in the thought. Sorry, man. It's a game changer in the thought process of like what you thought a boat was going to be, what boat you thought you wanted, compared to what it's actually going to, what you're actually going to get at the boat show. So I mean, I know once again when I walked into the boat show last year and saw that vessel, it was something I almost instantly wanted, but would have never seen here. So there's obviously more than boats at the boat show too, so you don't just have to be a boat person to come. So let's say your significant other just hates boats and is into cars. Well, there's campers, cars, inflatables, all kinds of other stuff going on here at the boat show. We've got, in fact, actually the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show even has a custom car show built around it that you can participate in as well. It is a separate admission from the boat show, but still, it is another thing about coming down here. And this boat show, I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is not a one-day deal. So I don't know how anybody can buy a one-day ticket to the Fort Lauderdale show and call it a day and think they've seen everything, because there's just no way. I mean, I'm here for the whole show, and there will still be things on that last Sunday that I'm here that I'll be like, oh man, how did I miss that or didn't see that? And especially because the first couple days, like today, you'll be more focused on walking around seeing the boats. There's plenty of vendor booths here, so when you first walk into the show, there's vendor booths, and like I said, they just weren't set up at that time. The show, I still don't think the show's open yet. I'm not sure what time it is, but we're getting close by now. But there's Rockford Fosgate, so speakers are here. Intrepid. I think Intrepid might be one of the feature sponsors on this year's show, because I believe that is the boat that I saw videos on Instagram of them actually putting up outside. So we're going to walk into the Sea Ray booth for just 1 minute, guys, and just kind of look around, see if Sea Ray's got anything new here to look at as well. I'll show you another one of my boats that, if you're not a coastal guy, that's one of my favorites. And it's actually right here, the 270 SDX. So if you're somebody who doesn't need to go offshore a ton, this boat is epic. I mean, just seating for days. You've got everything you could need or want on a boat. This was a boat that I almost bought a couple years ago when they first came out with it. We actually waited because they told us then they were coming out with the boat that's behind them here, which is the 250 SDX. And actually, this does have a pretty cool feature as well. The 25-foot model is a little bit shorter, but still has side cabin access right here. So if you guys look there, you can see the door. So it kind of, they relaid it out just a little bit different. This one was new, I believe, last year. It might have been the year before. Let's see if there's anything else new that they got running here, man. But once again, guys, so you can get on all these boats. There's no place you're going to be able to go where you can just get on all this stuff and see, feel, touch, everything like that all in one shot. And this is the 290 SDX. I love the SDX line, especially if you're not somebody who goes offshore. I mean, just, you can get everybody out on this boat. I don't really see anything new. So I'm not just looking for new stuff though, guys. I mean, of course, I guess once again, I've been coming to these long enough that I start looking for the new stuff. That's what really gets me excited. So like, that's why the formula over there was so exciting to me. And I guess, I mean, this is kind of new too. We're starting to see a lot more of this, where the Sun Dancers are coming with the outboards. For years, I mean, these were inboard outboard boats. And of course, you got the Merc 600s right here. And so that's one of the big game changers we've seen in the last few years, where all these boats are doing that now versus coming out with the inboards.
You know the world better than I do, but a little Zodiac is 60 grand. And it's not.
Cruiser yachts. I like that black, man. The black is sharp. The beige interior. The wings on that boat are awesome, man. That's a nice layout. I still love seeing boats, more and more boats come out with that, where they extend your actual platform that you're on, where you've got more room to play in the back. I'll tell you what, that's huge as well, guys. Once again, another one of those companies that your typical boat show, if you live in Wisconsin, you're probably not seeing cruiser yachts there. I could be wrong, and you guys can light it up in the comments at any point in time and let me know if I am. And I know this is a long-winded video, guys, and I think I'm only probably going to have 2 hours worth of battery. I don't know that I'll even get through Bahia Mar, being honest, before this thing cuts off on me. And I come here. So I like the Junos. This is nice too. Interesting setup on a center console. I know this is going to get a little long-winded, guys, but once again, I just want you guys who don't have a chance to experience something like this just to see what it's all like, and not just the in-depth boat details. Once again, I mean, you can go to boattest.com all day long and get those, or even the center consoles only, and get that stuff. I always love the fountains as well. These are nice boats, and they've really stepped their game up in the last couple of years. For a few years, they felt like they kind of went really hardcore fishing, and then all of a sudden, a couple of years back, maybe it was 2020, they showed up to the boat show with more of that like Midnight Express type boat. So it's not quite there. It's still a little more fishy than those, but really kind of, I feel like, went back to their roots as to what they were supposed to be or what they were going to be. And I think this is the one I saw. once again, really just stepping up their game. And actually, I mean, this is going to sound crazy to say, $887,000, not a terrible price for a 38-foot boat. I don't know if you guys can see that there or not. But 38-foot boat with trip 450s on the back, I mean, that's a lot of boat for the money anymore. I mean, things have changed quite significantly in that market. For those of you who need a little extra, want to be the loudest guy at the sandbar and annoy everybody, they got you covered. Deep impact. These guys, man, this is a nice one. I'm assuming this is a newer model. I'm not as familiar with Deep Impact as I probably should be, guys. Especially the newer models. I'm a little more familiar with some of their older models, but then of course you've got some of the Yachts, Benettos here. So if you're in the market for that, this is not just a speedboat type market. It just happens to be that, once again, the first couple docks, they kind of set up for those. And so that's what we're seeing first. So this is Blackwater. Looks like we got Jaguar catamarans over here. So Jaguar does some interesting stuff as well. They take more of like a racing style catamaran hull and put it into a fishing boat. Helps you on plane a little faster, a little more speed, but still gives you that soft ride that a catamaran will do. And this is my retirement plan. One of these days when I can quit my regular job and just go live in the islands, I definitely want one of these. I mean, this is the big fight between me and my wife. She wants this one. She wants a power cat, and I want a sailing cat. At that point in time of retirement, no desire to go fast anymore. Just want to chill out and relax. But man, like, you know, one of my favorite YouTubers I watch all the time is a couple called Gone with the Winds, and you know, they went sailing on a catamaran, spent 6 months in the Bahamas, and a video they did was breaking down their cost to live in the Bahamas on a boat for 6 months. And they were on a sailing catamaran. I can't remember the number, but it was something ridiculous, like $6,000 was their total cost of doing that. Because on a sailing catamaran, if you got it geared up right, kind of like a, you know, solar, things like that, you're going to be able to just live off the grid, and you're going to be anchored in harbors. There's plenty of soft sand harbors and protected coves in the Bahamas that you can anchor in and not pay any mooring fees. And basically, if you do your plans right on planning food, I mean, you could really get away cheap. They did. They really did. I mean, they were only really paying for fuel in the dinghy, and when they absolutely had to.
Then they stretch up. Yeah.
So, got one of the HCBs here. These are always great boats as well. So as we're moving further back into the show, you guys will start to see the boats are getting a little bigger. So we're moving into some more of the sport fishes, yachts, things like that. And that's what's kind of cool about Fort Lauderdale is, I mean, it's something for everybody. It really is. And once again, this crazy part is when you think about this, so we're only on like the 3rd dock, guys. And here's Pardo. Love the Pardos as well. Pegasus is here. This is one of our buddies' yachts, actually. We've been on this one a couple times. I'm trying to figure out, I think this is the original Pegasus, though. I don't believe this is his new one. But guys, if you haven't been over here and checked out the Pardo yachts, and if you ever come to the Fort Lauderdale show, you need to stop by and look at these things. They're amazing. All right, guys, so now we're over here at HCB. Great boat. The Sueños I don't know if you guys will remember this video, it's kind of an older one, but we actually rated this boat as the best boat for beginners. I mean, fantastic vessel. You can probably find that video if you search, but just search Broncos Guru best boat for beginners and you'll find this one somewhere on there. And one of the reasons it's the best boat for beginners is because if you buy this boat, you probably are going to have a captain taking you around. But beautiful center console. I mean, the HCB boats, they just do it a level above everybody else. And I mean, I'm pretty confident that there's only a handful of boat shows in the US that get these boats at them. So once again, another one of those boats, if you want to see it, you're going to have to come to Fort Lauderdale to do so. In Superyacht Pavilion electronics, so right here you're going to have more vendors in there. So once again, not just boats, it's anything you can imagine that's got to do with boating, you probably can see here. But here you can see the front of the Axopar 37. I mean, it's not a very high beamed boat. The gunnels are low, but man, that thing slices through the water like it's just crazy. So this looks like it's more, obviously, we're getting into the big boy toys, into the yachts, back here on the backside of the boat show. Now, I've never heard of Candos. I'm assuming they're a yacht company based on the board right here. And man, this is some pretty slick looking yachts though. I like those yachts that look more like a military type vessel, and that's what I see in that. And Andy, if you're watching this, this could be our answer to the boat we saw on the river here in Fort Lauderdale. We saw a yacht coming by that we weren't sure about, and that yacht, oh man, that is slick. Look at the engravery on the back of the seats. Now I wonder if that's their logo. It's gotta be, right? I was thinking, you know, the Knights University logo, but now that's an interesting setup, seeing the one single screen. Almost looks like a Tesla. So, okay, so the logo's because it's their Gladiator series. I've never seen this boat actually, so this is once again, same deal, coming to the boat show, even in 5 years, 6 years in a row now, I've never looked at these. All right, I gotta, it's not really my thing, but I gotta look at this one back here in the back. Kind of reminds me of the Pardo a little bit in layout and style, a little bit smaller than the Pardo, so if you want something a little more manageable. Now that's interesting. Putting the lounger back in the back like that, it gives you access to get in and out of this thing. But man, look at the seating setup. What? Bro, you're not gonna feel anything in that if you're pounding. That is wild. The suspension on those seats is absolutely crazy. And look at the little Garmin screen there too. So your passengers can kind of see where you're going. It's like in the console of the car. Like we're like in the center console there in the middle. That is pretty neat as well. Cool, slick looking boat. But I like those seats in the back, man. I always wonder how you're gonna get in and out of those vessels. And that's how you're gonna do it. So we'll keep on rolling. And this is another one of those ones where you're really going to see some things that you probably just won't see anywhere. So the fjord boats, I bet maybe here in Miami, maybe Annapolis, I'm not 100% sure. Bronson 50. Once again, something for everybody. So we're coming back into here, but I'll tell you what, guys, what I'm going to do is we're going to move up a little bit. A lot of this is going to be yachts, and you guys are welcome to come down here and check all these beautiful boats out. The yachts are typically a little different world than like some of the center consoles and stuff you see over there. typically, oh my gosh, that thing is massive, bro. Huge catamaran. In case you need a spot to keep your helicopter too. That thing is crazy, man. But I bet that handle's awesome as well. But since the yachts are a little different than like a lot of the center consoles and stuff, most of the time on the yachts, guys, you're gonna need an appointment, or you're gonna need a broker with you. So some of them you can't get on, like I'll bet the Leopard and stuff that was over there that we passed, I've seen them here at the show in the past, and typically has one of the biggest crowds is that booth, because they were kind of just people walking through, and they're beautiful both on the inside. If you guys have never been inside one of those Leopard catamarans, I mean, you really do have to check it out. They're just very luxurious, very roomy. I mean, like, especially if you're the type of person who wants to get out on your boat and go for like a week or two. I mean, seriously, you're gonna be able to do that on one of those boats, no problem. So back on the back dock, guys, back there, it's almost all yachts. And then what I'm gonna do actually is we're gonna go inside one of these pavilions real quick. It's gonna be really loud. I'm not gonna try and talk over the 55 generators that are here. The pavilions. So this is one of the pavilions that obviously we've got Simrad here, lots of other electronic stuff, repair stuff. So if you're looking for anything in your boating lifestyle, once again, a good place to come, the boat show. And the reason is because you're gonna find it here and be able to probably test multiple options. So we said that earlier, and I probably should have opened on something more along that. Like one of the other reasons you would possibly come to a FLIBS or something is maybe you're looking for a new GPS. And I don't know how many of you guys really mess with these things anymore. You'll be shocked how many boats I get on with friends of mine that have gorgeous Simrad systems and don't know how to use them. They've all gotten more and more complex over the years. So if you come here, you're going to be able to talk to the pros about it, have them show you how to do it, have them show you how this stuff works, and really get a hands-on approach and feel on which unit might be the best for you. And honestly, in the GPS game, I promise you, if you come to a boat show, not really in price discounts, forget that, you probably can save yourself thousands of dollars. And the reason I say that is I think so many people overbuy on GPS compared to what they need. And here, if you get there and actually get to touch it, you may learn that you can probably live with something that's several $1,000s less than what you originally thought you needed, just by digging in and actually doing the research. But here I don't have to dig in and spend, I mean, trust me, anytime I get a new boat, and we buy a new one every year, we get another center console, I have to learn a new GPS system every single time. And man, I'll be spending hours watching videos on that. Of course, marine security, audio, any upgrade you're looking for, it's gonna be here with multiple vendors showing it, which once again, just an opportunity to do a one-stop shop. And it depends on your timing. Once again, I'm telling you now, it's probably, if you're looking at spending thousands of dollars in electronics on a boat, building a new boat, I'd spend the money to fly down, especially with all the budget airlines and everything like that. That's pretty cool. Looks like a submersible. U-boat works. Okay, I actually did see this. So this is now the cheapest submarine an individual person can buy.
Oh, we didn't get that one.
They talked about this on the FLIBS website. So you don't have to have, I believe, any special licenses or anything to get this thing. You just have to have an open checkbook. But power to people, I mean, that is pretty darn cool. I mean, who'd have thought you'd be living in a world where you can get a sub, bro? I mean, think about that. You personally now can buy your own submarine. But once again, this is actually the most affordable personal submarine on the market at this time. They were talking about that one during FLIBS. That is pretty solid. As long as you live somewhere where the water's clear enough for you to be able to see what the heck you're doing. I promise we're going to see these popping up in some high-end excursions in the Caribbean and stuff like that, not too far down the line. Once again, more electronics, guys. So I just wanted to walk into one of these, kind of to give you an idea of what it's actually like in one of these booths, and I may walk back up into the front booth. And show you that one. The electronics one's a little more flash, but I saw like there's things going on in the first booth as well, but it was a lot more closed and stuff like that. But it was the initial, I mean, that's your walkthrough. In other words, to get into the Bahia Mar side, unless you bring the water taxi over from the convention center, you're going to start over there. And I mean, guys, so when I say this, like, we didn't go back on the super yacht side. This is where things get tough, and I'm going to try and just do a walkthrough of one day of Bahia Mar and not make this video 6 hours. So I'm going to get off this electronics. We were only on one side of Bahia Mar, so we are at stop 1 of several stops you can go to here. There's the convention center, Superyacht Village, Bahia Mar, but like, so we got Cobia on that side. I'm a little confused right now again though, man. Like, maybe that was here last year. The Cobia 3150. So actually at the Miami show we were on the 32-foot Cobia. It looks bigger than 31 foot. That can't be a 3150. All right, now I've got to walk over to the Cobia booth. Tram, beautiful boats, very high end as well. And a lot of people come here just for this. They come here just to have a good time. So even if you're not interested in a boat, this does kind of become a party scene at some point in time a little bit. Lots of food, lots of drinks, and definitely a good place to be. Now today, so the show's now open. When we started, this was not. So I started this around 10:45 a.m. and I believe it's 12:30 now. So obviously there's not 2 hours worth of footage here, guys. So I've skipped some stuff for you. Aviara Yachts. Scouts right over here as well. The Scout boats are always beautiful. If you ever walked through the Scouts, I mean, they really do it. For being one of the real mainstream brands that produce a fair amount of boats, I mean, Scout does a really impressive job. So, yeah, all right. So this is the Cobia 32, and it looks a little updated from last year when we test drove it even. But I want to know what was down at the end because I didn't recognize that one. So I'll have to go back and look. I've not been on the 35 foot. I don't know if this is new for this year or not. I'll have to find out. So, double live wells, big back seat. I could single hand pull that out if I wanted to. So I don't want to have to put it back up. This one's got the dive door. Fish boxes, but this is where I'm really curious. Is the front. So, I mean, it looks like a massive fish box, but I'm curious what the head compartment looks like now on the inside. And it is good size. So I really like the Cobias. I've heard a lot of good things about how they ride. But really nice. Like I said, we took the 30 out on a sea trial last year in Miami. Really impressed with the ride of it. Just didn't fit everything we needed with the actual storage and things like that. So in case anybody's curious how much this one is. But here you can see that line of sight kind of issue. So from a standing position, this is at my eye level, guys. Like you can see it's difficult to see. And that's from a standing position, but even the seated position is not much higher than where I'm standing at. And so that's where things get difficult. This boat does appear to at least be compatible with having AC. Obviously the joystick. I guess, assuming it's a cell phone compartment, which is perfect, or actually even better, where they put those things where you never know where to put the covers from the electronics boxes and stuff. Great visibility. The windshield looks good. I mean, the visibility I just don't like is to the bow. Like, I still feel like the console's too tall. Regal does a good job of fixing this issue by putting the doors on the side, but here what it is they just kept it tall, even with the door on the side, because of the massive fish box they put up front. But very cool boat. Very interesting. Curious if this is brand new. I'll have to ask one of these guys up here if I can get their attention. Alright, in an effort to speed the video up, guys, we're going to turn the camera off and I'm putting the shoes back on. The hydro pens or sea pens are kind of cool. It's another docking solution to get your boat out of the water, man. Once again, something else you can see here. I saw those a couple years back for the first time. The Scouts are great boats, but once again, just in this video, I'm just trying to see, like, unless it's something, guys, that is just standing out to me as something new that we want to look at, I'm gonna go. I did ask over there when I wasn't recording if the 350 was new, and no, I'm assuming somebody in the comments has already said that. But the I'd personally never seen it. Oh, that's neat. So once again, something I've never seen before, but it says since 1985, so they've been building boats. But basically it's a game fisher just with no tower. So getting back into the yachts again as we move further back onto the side. Some of these things, man, I don't know. If you guys have never been inside one of these big major luxury yachts, here you can definitely get the opportunity to do it. I've been inside a few and they're pretty much every bit as impressive as they look on the outside. I mean, these things are freaking crazy, bro. Got the big Vikings. But definitely this particular show opens up an opportunity, especially like for people who are just in smaller markets, to really be able to come in, see a lot of boats. I mean, obviously, you're not going to see something like this in the Midwest. Now, if you live in the Midwest, you might be thinking, well, why do I need that? But there are people who live out there that still have a second home here in Florida or something like that, or maybe they're making retirement plans.
Oh, we'll go there.
The Rivieras are very nice as well. And the Solaces are pretty cool boats too, guys. So if you guys make it to the Fort Lauderdale, I would definitely tell you guys to come check this out. The Solaces are really nice center consoles, very upscale. They've got a lot of neat, interesting features. Once again, I'm not going to do the boat walkthroughs. Same deal. You can go to boattest.com or one of the other guys that actually has the walkthrough. But once again, this is just more of the show experience, guys. Apple Marble, another smaller boat manufacturer. one that you'll likely not see at every boat show. I mean, I know 2 boat shows I've been to in the last couple months, they were not in those. Very high-end look boutique-y boat though as well. I mean, they're priced up there, we'll say. But not, I mean, if you build a good boat, it doesn't matter. Price it, you know, you get what you pay for, right? So we've got regulator over here. These are very popular boats as well. Another lesser known brand, I can't remember, we've asked these guys before in the past. No, not Chris Craft. Most people will know that one. Is Stamus, which is over here, and they actually make a really nice boat also, guys. So once again, another one of those boats that if you don't come to the Fort Lauderdale boat show or a major boat show like this, you're probably never going to see. But usually, I mean, he probably doesn't have pricing on these ones, but they're usually very competitively priced for the size of the vessel that they are, and they usually are fairly upscale still in the trims. You're going to see the stitching still done good. I mean, speakers are inset. Like, this is not a cheap boat, but I don't want to call them boutique-y, but they're a smaller manufacturer. I want to say at one point in time when I was talking to them a year or two ago, they only produce at that time like 30 or 40 boats a year. It wasn't a crazy high number, and that might change now. They've gotten down to some of these smaller vessels. So I always love the little side axes versus because you can get a full-size head axis when you do this. The biggest problem with that though too is typically the helm's higher. So look again, my line of sight view is a tough time. I can't even hardly see the bow. But still, very nice boats. And once again, like I said, usually, like, price-wise, they're usually very competitive. If you want a lot of boat for the money, it's definitely a decent one to look at. Of course, the Chris Crafts are exactly what you expect a Chris Craft to be. High-quality, beautiful boats. The Jupiters are very nice as well. Once again, it's another one of those places. I mean, Jupiter's becoming a little more popular. In other words, I've started to see them at several other boat shows as well. But up until a year or two ago, I really didn't see them anywhere but here. I think I saw them in the Orlando show a couple years back, and then Fort Lauderdale as well. And of course, the old Boston Whaler booth. Always one of the more popular booths at the show. And they really do it up, man. I mean, the Whaler booth, they've got almost every model, if not probably every model that they have on display. So if you can't decide which Whaler you want, another reason to come to the boat show. Now, I'm not trying to, when I say this, like, with the reasons, guys, I mean, it's a really great experience. It's something everybody, I think, should experience once, especially if you're into boating at all, is the Fort Lauderdale show. It's definitely worth it just to even spend, 2 days. I think in 2 days, you can see most of what you wanted to see. Probably not everything, but most of what you wanted to see. And at that one, guys, I'm gonna probably wind up cutting this out because we don't have a whole lot of time left, and that's already way longer than it should be. This is one of the new diesel outboards. I saw this for the first time. I think it was the Ox diesel back in the 2018 show, maybe. That was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. But these things are huge. But basically, they've got several uses. Obviously, I mean, you could fit it on a regular boat, but what they were saying was yacht tenders were the big business they were after. And the reason is what happens now when you're on a yacht, you have to carry diesel fuel for the yacht, and if you're carrying that tender, it requires regular fuel. As to where with a diesel outboard, I can quite possibly have a system set up where I can pull from the fuel tank on the yacht and refuel with the diesel I already have on board. So we're gonna cut through these food booths. I'm gonna go back and walk through the first vendor room again, one time for you guys, since they weren't open when we came through the first time. And we'll kind of go from there on this video, and probably start to wind this one down. Alright guys, so we're back at, you'll remember this, the Midnight Express booth in CV, and we're back at the main exhibitor hall, where this is once again the Bahia Mar side, which is you have to walk through here if you start on this side and don't come over on the shuttle. We are definitely going to be going against the grain a little bit here, so I'm going to try and move up. And because everybody's coming in, because the show really just kind of opened. Tell you what, these guys are probably the hardest workers in boat shows. I've seen them at so many boat shows now. It's crazy. It is a cool product though. I mean, if you're looking for like a super stable like platform you can swim and jump off of, easy to set up and deploy, really nice. But over here it's more marine accessories. You're gonna get glasses, tools, and things more to that extent. There was financing, so if you guys are looking for that, that's over here as well.
And he said it looked better than it did.
Gale Force Twins, they've got their gear and they're here. But anything you can think of you need in boating, I mean, this one really is a one-stop shop. I mean, way more than most boat shows that I've ever been to. I mean, I'd even say more than Miami. So Miami's biggest advantage, if you were just going to pick one of the two shows, is being able to actually go on the boat, being able to take the boat out for a sea trial. But if you're in that base phase where you're still just shopping for anything to do with boating, this is probably the spot to be versus that. You're probably really going to have a better time, an easier time getting the things that you're looking for here than you will at Miami. Because Miami is definitely more geared toward base boats and travel. So like when I say that, there was accessories and stuff at the Miami show, but it's more based on the, when I say travel, like there was like a lot of resorts there. Obviously all the boats were there, but there wasn't like nowhere near this level of accessories. Even in the convention center in Miami, they had an upstairs room that kind of had this stuff. But when you think about it, there's this here, there's like 3 tents like this on the Bahia Mar side. There's another section like this over at the convention center. I mean, it is just huge compared to that Miami show. So once again, this will give you an idea of what you're catching when you're first walking in to the boat show. But now you can tell a massive difference too in the amount of people that are here. And this is Wednesday. This is the slowest day of the show. Things only will get crazier from this point. The weekend is absolute insanity at the show. Now, I'm not saying that to discourage you from going, because it's a massive facility, a lot going on. But typically the Wednesday show, part of the show, is going to be the slower day. That's one way to carry ice, bro. So as you guys know already, we do a bunch of work with the Bahamas. Considered a boating ambassador for the Bahamas, and we do quite a bit of stuff. So I know they're hosting some seminars and things like that over here. There's my boy Ahmad. What's going on, Ahmad? How you doing? How you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
Hanging in there, bro.
Good?
Yeah, man.
Good to see you.
Say, man, so I'm making a video real quick. Like, what all you guys got going on over here this week? Do you know? Or do I need to hit Jonathan up on that one?
Jonathan can tell you exactly everything that's going on. I know we have a few meetings. We have like a little party that's going to go on. Sebi. So we have with all the events that we have taking place right now this weekend, so Robert can capture the events. Robert's trying to capture the events that we have this weekend, so we want to know what all we have going on.
I know Robert.
But I know we have a cocktail party or something.
Yeah, so tonight we've been invited to go to the Mayor's Gala. Mayor Tranquilus.
Well, really what I'm looking at, what are you guys doing here? So I know here at this booth.
So we have a happy hour on Friday from 2 to 3 with Standard Key Yacht Club and Baker's Air. And then we have another happy hour on Saturday from 1 to 2
and that's going to be just come hang with our boating ambassadors and engage with our industry partners. We'll be doing Bahama. There'll be some music, and then we'll also have some junket and greeters as well. 2 junket and greeters that'll be here on Saturday.
Okay, so if you guys are here at the boat show, any of those dates and times that Jonathan just mentioned, you guys swing by, grab an island-inspired beverage, and enjoy your time over here. Can they sign up for the boating flings here at the show?
They can.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so guys, we do boating flings with these guys every year. How many are we doing this year? 6?
We are doing 6.
Okay.
We're doing 4 to Bimini, 1 around Bahama, and our extended 2 in Super.
Okay, so guys, come to the boat show, sign up for one of those flings. I usually join them at least on 1 or 2 of those flings every year. I'll announce some dates on that on the one we're going on this year as well. And I may even have a separate one going on that I'll mention later on in the channel that's a little outside of these guys, but I might try and incorporate it in there so we can kind of do it all together again as well. But thanks guys, I appreciate it. So